criticizing women. Are you saying that the men in DC are not good looking? Like what happened there? Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Men in DC, trash. Women,
she was like,
turn it up.
Focus on women. Like, I just want you to understand that the men here are not good looking.
That's the truth. It's very true. Like,
that's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, I got the word this time. I'll tweet it.
Just everyone in DC, every dude in DC is just hitting above their station. Just
everybody's winning in DC. Everybody is shooting out of the gym. Like, damn, I didn't know I had this much range.
As a Black woman, it is an interesting area to date in. I would just say that.
That makes sense.
It's not. You're recording this now, so I don't want to say anything.
You are being live streamed, so if one of your boots sees this, he's gonna be like, wait.
I'm like, I just hit continue when I was like, yeah, no, we're recording, but at the same time, I'm like, oh.
Maybe there is a reason that Zoom lets you know now that you're being recorded.
I appreciate
one of your Bumble matches is gonna be like, what the fuck?
Did she just call me ugly?
I thought we had a great time the other day.
She's gonna be like, I haven't been on a date with a good-looking guy in like 3 months, and someone's going on a date with a month ago. It's like, wait a second.
Oh, hey.
No, my fear is someone's gonna be like, oh, I recognize. Like, wait a minute, is that why she texted me back?
What were the other cities on this list? I gotta know. Like, DC
LA was like number 5.
Where is Houston? Houston's got to be up there.
I think Houston was on the list. I think Houston was like number 3, and Atlanta was like number 4.
I'm about to say Atlanta has to probably be up there. I believe LA. Well, Los Angeles, like they. That's the thing, is like it's too nice year round out there for you to be ugly. Like, you have to constantly people work out. Like, people work like out here. Like,
you gotta wear short sleeves. Yeah.
Wait, like, okay, I'm East Coast. Like, so today's March, what, 12th, March, whatever. Okay, we got like
13th.
We got 4 inches of snow yesterday.
Oh.
Hell no.
Right.
No,
so that's what I'm saying. Like, we around here, we have I call it my fluffy season. Like, I can put on a couple pounds, and it's okay. It's okay.
It's fluffy cool. Season.
But if I go to LA, they're gonna be like, "Oh, this fat bitch."
Houston was number 2, Atlanta was number 3, and LA was number 5.
Plus, like, every person moves out to LA to try and like become something, and it's just like you guys got like. Just everyone's hot, like your McDonald's workers are hot, like it's just like everyone's hot. Not to besmirch the McDonald's worker, that seems like a shot across the bow, but it's just like
no.
The McDonald's workers here look like McDonald's.
I was about to say last
Starbucks workers.
I was just about to say Starbucks.
Oh my god!
I went into Starbucks and I felt homeless. I was like, oh, like, like they look so good.
Speaking of attractiveness and hormones and everything else, we're doing Turning Red on today's podcast.
Look at the segue, guy. That's why they're paying the big bucks on the news.
That was pretty amazing.
We are joined by Aaron Floyd, who has just been mainlining all of our episodes.
We love Aaron.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. We're like getting pings on episodes we didn't even know we did.
I think like 2 years
we apologize for any of our bad takes on those podcasts. We apologize for them, but we stand by them.
All of my takes have been good on this podcast, so I apologize for nothing. You tweeted the other day about like our Booksmart episode, which was done like back when we first started this podcast. You tweeted me something about like about my high school, and I was like, I don't even remember what I said about my high school. Like, you could be talking about literally anything.
You said your high school was in the news like every year for something.
Yeah.
I was like, facts. How are you still teaching children?
Because they don't care about children here. We live in Texas, so
it's public school.
Fair.
We do live in Texas. They don't give a shit about children.
Fair.
Actively trying to kill us sometimes.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Not a problem. Not for nothing. We did need a female voice on this. On this movie, we just did. Like, it would have been weird.
That was honestly my deciding factor when he realized what the movie was about.
Yes, I didn't exactly know what this movie was about. I just knew it was a new Pixar movie. And then I was watching. I was like, "Oh, Aaron, you have to come on this podcast. We need you."
And I was so nervous.
It'd be three cis dudes just talking about periods on this podcast. Be like, boy, actually, yeah, not great. So
but, according to the reviews and the allegations, the women that we have on this podcast are the only good part.
That's true. That's true. We weren't told that.
Yeah. All right. So we are. So you big shoes to fill, Aaron.
Okay. I welcome it.
Dex, Teach, how we doing? We doing all right? Tom Brady is still terrorizing your timeline in life. Teach.
I just got back to watching the NFL like literally during the playoffs, and then Tom Brady retired, and I was like, "This is amazing. This is a sign from God that I'm supposed to keep watching." And then Tom Brady was like, "LOL, just kidding, guys. I'm coming back." And now I'm just like, maybe I don't want to watch the NFL next season. Like, I don't want to do the whole Tom Brady thing again, bro.
I don't. I'm good, bro. Like, honestly, this might move him up to at least number 2 on the real life supervillain draft board. Like, Putin is hard to knock off at the number 1 spot. Putin's a generational talent there, but Tom Brady is right on his heels. Like, this is like Kay Cunningham, Jalen Green part 2. Like, you can't really go wrong with whoever you draft.
Yeah. Oh, he agreed to stay away. I just put on Twitter. I was just like, man, this kid's asked him to cook him breakfast one time, and he was like, no thanks.
One kid ran the wrong route. Kid ran the wrong route once, and he said, "I'm fucking done with this shit."
What happened was his daughter asked him to do a TikTok dance, and he was like, "Nah, fam, I'm good." Like,
what happened?
This is what life is gonna be. I'm out.
No, he got on Giselle's nerves. And she was like, "Don't you got something to do?"
You really have nothing to do? Like,
don't you have some friends?
So you're just here. You're just here.
Just all the time. Ugh, I thought I wanted your brain here, but no, thank you.
I thought you were rich and had friends, but like you're just here all day talking about football. I don't care about the 2004 AFC Championship game, bro. Like,
Giselle's at home creating a LinkedIn for him. Like, let's find some shit.
Imagine Tom Brady's your barista.
Yeah, no thanks. Pass. They shouldn't allow him back. They should be like, no take backs. He's like, you said you're retired. You're done. You can't come back. Please leave us alone forever.
Turning Red, Disney Pixar's newest adventure, came out 2 days ago? 3 days? Friday. Yeah. Came out Friday. A 13-year-old girl named Maylin turns into a giant red panda whenever she gets too excited. It is written and directed by Dome Shi. Julia Cho, also has a screenwriting credit, and Sarah Stryker has a 7.1 on IMDb, an 83 Metascore. It's getting a lot of traction, but not what a normal Disney Pixar movie would get. 64th popularity movie on that website right now, trending wise. It stars Rosalie Chiang, Sandra Oh, and a cast of other, no one actually super famous. James Hong is Mr. Gao, is he's been in a bunch of stuff, but yeah, no one other super famous than that. But yeah, Sandra Oh and Rosalie Chiang are pretty much the two main characters here. It hasn't made any money because they, for some reason, decided to release this directly to Disney Plus, which they have done with a few of the Pixar movies now, and I don't know why. Any thoughts?
It's probably made plenty of money. We just don't know. We just have no way of knowing what it made. But it feels like a lot of people are watching this movie. Although you're right that nobody's going to the movie theater to watch this movie.
Well, they didn't even put it behind a paywall or anything. They didn't even try to
put it up there. Yeah, didn't they do that with Soul too? Soul was the same way, right?
Yeah, I think they're done with the paywall thing. Like, I don't think that's coming back at any point.
They only did it for Black Widow.
Mulan.
They did it for Mulan.
Okay.
Yeah, Black Widow and Mulan. I don't think that's coming back. Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
Bring it back. Either pay $20 at the movie theater, or I'll pay for free at home. Like, this is the way that it should be. We don't get rid of these paywalls, guys. We don't want to pay $20 extra at home. That doesn't make any sense to me.
I think they saw Encanto had decent success box office wise when it came out, but not really anything major. And then they put it on Disney Plus, and it like fucking shook up pop culture immediately.
True.
So they were just, like, it became like the number one soundtrack on Billboard, and became like the number one song
Immediately
on
was
Billboard.
nominated for an Academy Award.
Yeah,
Like
so they were
it
just
only came
like-
out a few weeks ago.
Yeah, so they're just like, hey, fuck it. Like, we'll just put it like animated movies on Disney Plus now. Like, we don't need to put it in theaters unless we like absolutely know it's going to be like a huge box office thing. Like, and so they were probably like lukewarm on like the Turning Red box office, and we're like, hey, we don't need headlines about like the first like Disney, like the first Pixar movie directed by a woman to be
paywall,
be behind a paywall, or to have like mediocre box office. We'll just put it on Disney Plus. Everyone will love it. We'll be done with it, and like whatever. But
did you just
which is weird.
Did you just call the movie Seeing Red? Because I've been doing that all.
I've been doing that.
It's been so hard.
Why am I doing
every
that?
time.
I literally can't. I can't stop calling it the wrong name. I can't. I don't know where I'm getting Seeing Red from. But I can't stop.
Turning red.
Seeing Red is like a Bulls podcast or something. No, so this it's doing well. Has a 95% critic score, which is one of their higher. I think their highest since Soul. Like, they don't get, most of these Pixar movies don't get below 90% or even like 85%, but has a 69% audience score, which we'll talk about because a lot of people have a lot of wrong and bad opinions about this movie.
The least nice 69 of all time.
Yeah,
this is amazing because you can see like critics are always scared to shit on a kids movie, except for that one critic who got very publicly panned for it, which we'll talk about, I'm sure. And then audiences are obviously like severely underrating this movie, probably because it has Asians in it, and white people are just like, no. So you might not be able to get like a good score what the movie is from either one of those rankings, and I find that to be fascinating.
Listen to the One Take Pod. We will give you the right and accurate score on this movie.
Yeah.
But let's start with Aaron. Aaron, go ahead. Give us your review and a letter grade, please.
A letter grade and review. Okay, so I will put it at an A-.
Okay.
There's only honestly one thing in the movie I didn't like. Other than that, I found it to be really good. So I'm gonna put it at an A-. I really, really, really liked it more than what I didn't even look at the previews at all. I'm a sucker for Pixar movies, so I'm just gonna watch it regardless.
Yeah.
Big kid animated movie. We got snow. I'm in the house. Let's do this. So I thought it was pretty good though. I was familiar with the director prior to seeing this because I did see Bao, which
incredible.
Banger.
Fucked up short. Like it was a little fucking, like it was a shock. I was like, oh, mama just gobbled up her baby dumpling like that. Hold on. I wasn't ready for this. But it was really sweet. And I do like so I was familiar with the director, and I knew this was her feature film first project. So I did like it. I liked it a lot. Yes.
What was the one thing you didn't like?
Oh, we can go into that? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
Why not? Okay, so the one scene I was very keep in mind, I've only watched the movie once. I only saw it Friday, I think, or Saturday. It was a scene where Ming, the mother, goes and confronts Devin in the grocery store about things, quote unquote, possibly inappropriate with her daughter. And I know we can suspend realism or whatever, suspend reality. It's about a girl turning into a fucking panda. So, okay, this isn't realistic. At the same time, I feel like false accusations are a sensitive subject. It's a sensitive subject. And I don't think that glossing over falsely accusing a 17-year-old at his job publicly about being possibly inappropriate with his daughter and accusing him of possibly being on drugs. Remember when she asked him, she was like, how old are you? And he was like, I'm 17. She was like, well, you look 30, and that's what drugs do to you. Ma'am, like, I don't even know your daughter. And I thought that was it was uncomfortable to watch.
That was weird.
They just did the Bad Boys 2. They did the Bad Boys 2 bit.
Yes. And I was like, why is this here? And it's a sensitive, like, the accusation itself, I think, in realistically is sensitive, and this wasn't the right place. I think I wish they would have not used that, that situation to show how Ming is not listening to her daughter. I was like, we could have done something else.
Yeah,
that was
fair.
the one.
I agree with that.
I didn't even think about that in the moment, to be honest. But yeah.
They basically accused him of being a child molester. I was like, wait,
right?
What kind of movie is this?
I was like, he's 17. Granted, she's 13, but I'm like, can you imagine real life? Like, that would have ruined his life. Like,
that's insane.
Be like, what were you doing with my daughter? Did you do this with her? And mind you, the picture she was showing her was like, your daughter drew herself as a mermaid.
This. Like, yes.
Mermaid. Like,
she was a mermaid.
Some lighthouse fantasies going on.
Right.
Yikes.
I was like, yo, and granted, like the movie glossed over it. And I think the next day he was back on his shift, not caring about anything. But real life, like, yo, that would have been a police investigation. Those little drawings would have been like, evidence. He would have lost his job. Like, I was like, this is so inappropriate. But they made too light of that situation. So yeah. No.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel you on that.
What did you like about it? How did you get to an aim? Obviously you enjoyed it, but what was it about the movie that really was like, oh, I'm having a good time? Like, what did they do well for you in your opinion?
The thing that I connected with the most, and I'm pretty sure a lot of women connected with it, was how hyper focused these little girls were about a boy band, and how every girl in it, like K-pop, Justin Bieber, Twilight, Selena, like you can like the hyper focus that a young girl has when we are hormonal at that time on any sort of, it is just like that. It is literally just like that. It is our world. It is what we wake up and think about. It is what we talk about at lunch. It is so sad, but it is so true. And it was perfect. It was the way that they perfectly, like the Mei Ling is a dork, but she's very confident about being a dork because she has other friends who are on the same level of dork.
Which feels like a 2020 thing that they put into this 2002 set movie, which was kind of interesting.
It was set in 20. It was
2002.
Yeah, it was.
Wait, what feels like a 2020 thing?
That she was very confident in her dorkiness. Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. But most dorks are not confident unless they do have those other friends who are equally. If you have a support system in your dork, you are cool. It doesn't matter. So she had support, so she was good.
Yeah, all her friends were dorks, so she was like, "Yeah,
everything's cool. Yeah, we can do this."
Until puberty hit.
Dex, go ahead, man.
I really like this movie. I'm at an A- as well. That's what I gave it on Twitter. I thought this movie was delightful. Most Pixar movies are. I thought it was like adorable and heartfelt. I really appreciated the art and the way it looks and everything like that. There's a sequence at the beginning that I posted on Twitter where the dad is in there cooking, and you can tell that the animators went fucking crazy on that one scene of him cooking, and I was like, this is spectacular. I read a couple of interviews and stuff from Domi Shi, or however you pronounce the director's name, and she talked about how this was inspired by anime, and obviously, and that affected some of the art direction and stuff like that, and you can definitely see that. I really liked how they did that stuff. I appreciated the story. It's not anything groundbreaking or new that we haven't seen before, right? We've seen, overbearing mother and, rebellious daughter, that kind of thing. It's been done before, but I really like the way that they did it. It felt like a unique spin on it, a regular relatable story. And that guy, I didn't get to read the review before it got taken off the internet because that guy got Twitter ratioed so hard that they erased all traces of his review from the internet.
Incredible. It's on Wikipedia. He got ratioed so hard it's in the Wikipedia article for this movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't get to read it, but his thing about not being able to relate to it, it's only for certain people, and those people who relate to it, but other people can't. Bullshit.
Everyone's been a teenager. Sorry to interrupt. Everyone's been a teenager. Everyone's been embarrassed by their parents or tried to impress their parents or done it. Yeah. So that review was just bananas. I can't believe that guy thought I'm gonna hit send on this shit. He thought he read a Pulitzer.
He thought he had him. He thought he killed him with that one. Yeah, I'm gonna tease Disney right now. They're not gonna make any more Asian movies on my watch.
What a loser. What a bozo.
Fucking idiot. But yeah, like
you get ratioed so bad that it ends up on Wikipedia. That is a objectively bad day of tweeting. You did a bad job.
Bro, I've been ratioed so hard that like it was trending on Twitter, but like it's not on the Jamie Foxx Wikipedia page. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what I would have done.
I'm gonna go update the Jamie Foxx Wikipedia page right now.
User Dexon.
Our boy Anthony Duckett got ratioed the other day for like not knowing about MC Hammer. Like, but like that shit didn't know on MC Hammer's Wikipedia page. Like I would die. You'd have to delete your account immediately. Like it's no other recourse. But
oh god.
Anyway, back to the movie. Yeah, this movie is extremely relatable. Like, because I remember being a kid around 2002, honestly, who was like super obsessed with boy bands, and like I had a whole like presentation that I gave my parents one year because I really wanted to go to a Chris Brown concert. And me and my cousin were both like, we're old enough. We love all this music. It's not that expensive. It's not that far to drive. We've researched this. We can all go. Like I've been there. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I appreciated that part of it. I thought like apparently Billie Eilish and her brother wrote the songs for the boy band, and they're like kind of jamming, low key. Yeah.
They're so good.
So,
I've been listening to them all weekend.
I fuck with that. And there's a scene like the band is called Four Town, and the mom was like, "Why is it called Four Town if there's 5 of them?" And I was like, "Thank you for asking."
I had the same question. I'm glad someone asked that.
It's like four asterisks town.
It's because 2 of them are twins. They're Aaron, you know what?
Aaron D and Aaron Z or something like that.
Yeah.
It's one Aaron.
The fact that you know that is incredible. I did not pick up on that at all.
Didn't pick up on that either. I was like, there's 5 of them. It should be 5 now. Damn it. But yeah, you know, so like just
Aaron.
Little shit like that just like made this movie delightful for me. The only thing that I can knock it for, the only reason it's not like an A+ or an A for me, is that like this movie has the teenage girl problem in a movie where like it's so hard to make your movie about a teenage girl and like make it make sense for adults, because there's so many times where the main character May is like, "Mom, I'm an adult. I'm 13 years old." And as a viewer, you're just like, okay.
All right.
Like, whatever.
You don't even have bills yet, kid.
Yeah. What are you? No, get out of here. You're not an adult. You're a 13-year-old. Like, relax. Obviously, your mom is overbearing and insane for showing up at your school and bringing you like maxi pads and shit to school.
That is the most relatable shit. That shit was so relatable. I was like,
well, let's talk about it right now, because that was the most risque thing that I think I've ever seen in a Pixar film. And it's not even like that risky. It's not even like risque. Like I'm being like, but it really is the most like thing where they're just like, we're talking about periods now.
Yeah, they put it out front, and I appreciated it though. But I was like, yo, that's the most relatable shit. Not even her mom showing up to. First of all, she was hiding behind a tree and she kicked the security guard. Like, hold on.
That was really funny.
I was like, mom is wild. But just how the mother handled it, like first time, like my mom pulled out like a body bag of. I'm like, why? I'm like, why? Like, please leave. Like, you were way too prepared.
You're a delicate flower.
Right. And I'm like, this is so real. But I remember the embarrassment of it. And I'm like, Jesus, oh my gosh. I was like, this is so real.
But yeah, for me, the movie is an A-. I found it like extremely delightful and fun. And I liked all the side characters. Her group of friends was really funny to me. Like all their like different weird voices and personalities and stuff like that. I loved. Yeah, man. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch this shit on Disney Plus. You got nothing to lose. So A-.
Tej?
I gave it a B. I also enjoyed it. I wouldn't say I enjoyed it like as much as even some of the more recent Pixar movies. I didn't enjoy it as much as Soul. Obviously, we only have to bring out the Pixar classics, but I'm like Aaron. If it's a Pixar movie, I'm just gonna watch it. I was already gonna watch this, and then y'all were like, "We should pod about this." I was like, "Oh, I guess I'll watch it tonight." So like, I had a perfectly good time. I really liked her friend group, and I thought that part of the storyline was just like phenomenal. Every time the friends were on screen, I just was having a good time being in their friend group. a really unique and interesting way to talk about the like issues of puberty and like issues of. I thought they did a really good job of kind of paying the main character like you knew where it was going when she was in the first montage. She's like, I'm 13, I'm an adult. Like you knew exactly what was happening. Like, oh, she doesn't know anything. But like that fact of like, you know, starting the movie saying like the tenet, a basic tenet of Asian households is like you have to respect your parents. I thought that was a really smart way to start the movie because that's basically what the movie's about. Like at some point she has to decide whether she's going to be her own individual person or whether she's going to choose her parents, because at that point when she's 13 it feels like a binary decision. I can either respect my mom or I could respect myself, but I can't do both. And I love the scene where the kids are like, hey, like this is your daughter's idea, but you know, like in my friend group personally we don't snitch like that, so like my friends would have never told my parents that like TJ came up with this whole idea, because like if your parents aren't here, like you got to shoulder this one, like you just got to be like, no, it was my idea. So I didn't really like the fact that her friends like basically told on her, but then I understood they were doing that so that she can have the moment where she walks away from her friends when you know they're gonna get back together. But like, I was like, oh, okay, I understand, because like my friends don't snitch like that. Like we would never have done that to our parents, like never. But I really liked the fact that, you know, the metaphor of like, okay, I'm going to do what I want to do, and what I want to do is panda all over the place. I really like to turn that into a verb. That was really funny. Like I'm just gonna be panda all over the place. Like I like the panda. I want to panda all over the place. I'm not ashamed of it. Like I don't want to get rid of this thing. And I know that my whole family thinks that this is a curse or a bad thing, but like this is actually a blessing. That was just so cool. That was just like such a cool way to tell a story. Although I think someone said this in group chat, like the movie is extremely predictable, but it's also a kid's movie. So like it didn't, I don't go into a kid's movie thinking that like they're going to be plot twists and like, oh my God, I can't believe the commentary that's being made. Like it's a kid's movie. I can imagine you sitting down with your little girl who hasn't had puberty yet and being able to have certain touch points of like, oh yeah, her mom thinks that she's having a period. By the way, let me tell you what a period is, because you're 10 years old. Maybe we haven't had that conversation yet. Like I think that serves a very good purpose. And I can only imagine what it'd be like to watch this with a little girl and kind of explain, like, they're making a joke here that, like, the mom thinks it's the period. That's why she has these pads.
By the way, if you aren't ready to have that conversation with your kid, do not watch this movie.
Because it's going to come up.
It's going to come up.
They're going to.
Like, Mom,
it's like in the first 15 minutes of the movie.
Right. What are all those pads for?
Yeah. I really liked kind of that when she's in the bathroom and the mom, even though it was a bit weird because the mom knows about the actual panda thing. So it was weird that the mom's first thought was like, have her period. But I was thinking maybe the mom had her period before she turned into a panda. I didn't really understand why the mom was like, oh, she must be having her period, as opposed to, oh, she might have turned into a panda.
She might have turned into a giant monster.
Right.
Maybe the mom had her period before she turned into a panda. That's what the mom's like, oh, I thought I had more time. You didn't even get your period yet. Like you're all of a sudden you're pandaing everywhere. This is crazy. But I just generally had a good time. The jokes are really timely. It's not like the longest movie. It made it a really easy watch. And I don't understand how anyone could watch the movie and think that they are othered or they're not in the in-group. Because I felt the same way as I think Royden just said. Like, I've been a teenager. I understand the dynamics of like, don't embarrass me in front of my class. And the mom was being so embarrassing when she's beating up the security guard. And she's just like, the mom is so embarrassing. Like, you got haters in your class. This hater like wants to see you. He's your ops. He wants to see you fail. And now in your most embarrassing moment, like he's hamming it up. Like it felt like they did enough to make you feel like you've been a teenager. You'll understand this movie. I really liked it. I had a good time with it. I would give it a solid B.
I belly laughed when they go, your mom is outside and she does the anime turn or the pan in, yes. And her mom's sitting around the tree with the sunglasses on, and it's the funniest thing, and like I really laughed out loud. And yeah, and there's a ton of like, I belly laughed at a lot of the jokes in there, and the little the Korean friend, the little girl in the group was cracking me up, cracking my wife up and I the entire time. And we just had a genuinely like fun time watching the movie. I think this was like the most fun. It's tough to like analyze Pixar movies, but they have done such a good job of like integrating like messages and adult humor and adult themes into their movies since the beginning of time, that like they almost exist on a different plane of film, where it's like you have to look at these things critically a little bit. Like normally, like Shrek, you aren't going to go in and you'll be like, well, let's break down like the meaning behind what his swamp is and what that means to him. No, they're not talking about like the existential crisis of like death and accomplishing your goals before death, like in Soul. You know what I mean? But this, on top of all of that, where they have done a bunch of heady things like Onward, it's like, how do you deal with the loss of a loved one? Like Soul was like, what do you do? You know, what does your time on Earth mean? What is death? And Luca was a little bit less than that, but this is one of the more straightforward, fun times I think I had with this, but it's still a subject that like, obviously people aren't comfortable, like old people online aren't comfortable talking to their grandkids or their kids about, because it's just like, oh, we got to talk about puberty with our kids now. Shit, I wasn't prepared for that. And and obviously they knew that when they made this movie. And I thought it was a really cool way to do that. Now it was pretty straightforward within the first couple of minutes of the movie, that it was like, oh, the panda is a thing for like puberty and growing up. But then also on top of that, like we said, they're like, we have pads and tampons and everything else in this movie. We're talking about periods, and we're talking about, liking boys and girls and everything else and what that means. And so it becomes something else towards the end, and it becomes more of like having to deal with past trauma or dealing with unresolved issues with past generations of your family. Like, her mom has mom problems. Her mom had mom problems, and just like this whole thing. And I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying like, this isn't a new thought, saying it's about dealing with generational trauma. I don't know if it's that deep, but it becomes something else than just the puberty movie kind of towards the end. I will say that the plot gets like, oh, friends are not friends anymore, and then they're friends again. And yay, that's like every Pixar movie.
I mean, life is like that when you're 13, though.
Yeah. Right.
It was literally Luca. So, that was that, she just basically, she shows up at the concert and they're friends again. And the dude that's been dry snitching on her the entire time, they're friends with him because he likes the band. So it was just kind of like, all right, like that's kind of where I would take points out, because it just kind of gets really thin at the very end of it, but it's not like that big of a deal. I think the use of Dex, like you said, and I noticed this too, all the anime eyes and like the animation and stuff just goes perfectly in this film. Like, why wouldn't it? And obviously Pixar does stuff with hair and motion that they've done. I thought the camera work, like in Raya that I mentioned in our Raya episode, I thought the camera work of this was really good when they were like following her around on chase scenes and all that stuff. I thought that was actually really cool. A lot of stuff that looked like handheld shots. Like if you're watching a movie, it looks like they're actually filming the scene instead of like animating it like in 2D.
Yeah, it's got a little shaky cam to it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know how they do that, but I noticed it, and it's really cool. To say that like this doesn't spread a good message. I saw people online saying, "Oh, this doesn't spread a good message to like go against you." It's just saying you should go against your parents and promotes dissent against your parents, and you shouldn't listen to them or your elders or whatever. Shut up. Boo.
Boo. When your mom gives you with pads outside the school, like, you can push back a little bit.
This is also like, this is post 9/11. This is post Columbine. Like, your mom just pull it up to the school. No,
you can't do that.
We're not doing this. Like, you can't just be outside. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go check in at the desk for that. Like,
right, she behind a tree.
Yeah, and it becomes sort of it becomes even more of a message about like autonomy over yourself and stuff. I think towards after they do the whole period bit, which I thought that's what this movie was just going to be the entire time. But yeah, it becomes, they do the joke a couple of times, and then it becomes its own sort of thing, and it becomes being like your own person and growing up and stuff like that. And I really appreciated that. And it's something that we don't really talk about with kids, is that eventually like you have to form your own personality, and the people that you surround yourself with, like, you better make sure that they are who you want to be around, and that you have good friends and a good support system and everything else. And also that you know, kind of realize sometimes where your parents are coming from, but there's a lot more lessons in this movie than just like, yeah, sometimes teenagers are horny. Like there's more lessons than that. Now the jokes around that are very funny. Like when she turns into the panda and she goes outside the store and she does the awooga, I laughed out loud. I thought it was one of the funniest things.
The best laugh I had was when the girls came back to the playground and they were after they had already tried to get all their parents to, buy their tickets to see Fort Town. And they were talking about how their parents shut them down. And one of them said, my mom said it was stripper music. What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that?
This is the most like, quote unquote, probably raunchy Pixar movie that you're going to get.
Definitely.
Like, so like she says crap a couple of times.
Yeah, true.
They talk about they talk about stripper music. They talk about.
And then the girl said, "What's wrong?" She was like, "What's wrong with that?" I had to rewind it. I was like, "Did she say what's wrong with that?" And I was like, "Because Wheels on a Bus could be stripper music as long as you're taking your clothes off. You don't know. You don't know."
I wouldn't want to go see somebody strip the Wheels on the Bus, but I understand the point. Like that makes a lot of sense. Like that. But if the music not slapping, I'm leaving the establishment. I'm leaving.
I
could be sold, depending.
That girl, that woman that you retweeted onto your timeline, you deviant.
I'm sorry. I don't. You could be referring to so many people right now.
Tej knows what I'm talking about. The Triple H lady.
Oh my god.
Oh, you mean Waterworks?
Yeah.
If she preferred to do that to Wheels on the Bus, I'm with Dex. I would not leave the establishment because I will amend my statement. That's true.
Do that to the Lord's Prayer. I'm leaving.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I'll probably stand for that. I'm gonna miss a miracle. No, fuck that.
You're getting baptized.
Oh God.
No.
Jesus, you're taking.
Hopefully,
sacrament.
nobody listening knows what we're talking about. And if you do, then you are deviant. And
don't look
directly to you.
Don't go look if you don't know what we're talking about.
Don't go look.
There were a lot of good jokes. Okay, one thing I wanted to ask because I had been thinking about it at the moment in the movie where the mother when she did go into the bathroom. That scene specifically. When she, came in with a pad stick and it was like her first, period or whatever, and she's, it's really her daughter Panda, for the first time. It gave me Teen Wolf vibes so bad.
Teen Wolf?
Yeah.
Teen Wolf. Remember he turned into the wolf and then his father, he was like, "No, Dad, like you don't want to see this." And then his father, turned out to be the wolf too. And he was like, "I wasn't expecting it. I thought it skips a generation." He was like, "No, Dad, it landed right on my face." I was like, this is very Teen Wolf. And then he started to, abuse the wolf and, show up at school and use it. I was like, this is exactly what she's doing with Panda. She's like, using the Panda appearances to get her money for her tickets. I was like, this is very Teen Wolf.
She's out here pimping the Panda, bro.
I definitely got Teen Wolf vibes.
I'm getting Teen Wolf vibes.
I did too. I thought the same thing when she started leading into the Panda, and the Panda was the hit at the party. I was like, this is Teen Wolf. Like this is obviously
very Teen Wolf.
Yeah. I on the other hand just kept going Panda, 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 Panda. I kept doing that to Caitlin. She's like, "Can you shut up, please?" I'm an idiot. Can you please stop? Panda. I gave this movie an A. I thought it was really like a 95 out of 100. I thought it was so much fun. I had more fun with this than I did, with Luca. I had less existential dread with it than I did with Soul, and I thought Soul was like an A+.
Oh my god!
Luca's like half a movie. Like, yeah, Luca, I feel like you can't really compare to any of the other Pixar movies. Like Luca feels like an extended short. Like they had too much for a short, not enough for a feature film, and they just like fell in the middle and just dropped it on Disney Plus. But like, yeah, I don't know. I put this like it's on par with Onward for me, like, which is a really good movie to me, but it's not like top tier Pixar, at least not right now. I'll first watch. It might be in a couple years. We'll see. But
I just think it's one of the funnier Pixar movies that I've seen in a long time. Yeah, and it the lesson wasn't super heavy, but yeah, the
I see what you did
nice.
there, Aaron. I see what you did there.
The nerds on Twitter and online are just completely missing the whole point of a children's movie, which is sad. But
it seems like their whole point is to be racist and that women and especially women of color shouldn't be making movies. That's their point.
Oh, misogyny. Yay. That's new.
Oh no, racism. Who could have known?
Who would have thought? No, yeah, just to be like, oh, I can't take away anything from this movie. It's like, you know what movie I can't take away anything from? The Godfather, because I'm not a gangster. Like, what do you want? What are we talking about? I can't take away. What are we gonna talk about? Like Avengers Endgame, because I'm not Thor. Like, what is this?
No, the takeaway from Endgame is always
so
aimed for the
much
head.
in that movie though, and I liked the small. You could tell that Domi, you could tell she's a millennial. You can kind of tell you could definitely tell, especially by like the music choices. Like they were playing, what was
it?
Cha-Cha Slide. They were playing Cha-Cha Slide at the birthday party and Bootylicious.
Oh yeah,
like,
that was really funny.
Like, and then the little thing that she had, the
little like Tamagotchi thing.
But it was a Tamagotchi.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, she's such a millennial. Like, those little things that she had, and you could tell, she was an anime fan. Like you can tell.
She was born in 1989, so she would have been 13 in 2002. So this feels very personal and very drawn from experience. She's not old at all.
Didn't she also grow up in Toronto? I think that part is taken from her life too. Yeah,
she's definitely got some issues to work out with her parents, like between Bao and
between Bao and this.
Oh yeah, no, she's got
some things to talk about.
She needs to talk. She needs to talk to her mom. She needs to call her mom.
No, that's when you come in with your therapist on Monday, like so. Dummy.
So Turning Red. Is
there anything you want to discuss?
After watching you bow, the mom should have said, "Do we have something to talk about?" But definitely after Turning Red, the mom should be like, "All right, let's stop this right now. We have to have a conversation right now. What are you doing?
Is this fucking play about us?"
Are you the dumpling?
Yeah. No. Speaking of the mom, I thought Sandra Oh, I thought she was incredible. Actually, like a lot of voice casts kind of get lost if it's not Tom Hanks or Tim Allen, you know what I mean, for that, or Owen Wilson for, you know what I mean, but like it kind of gets lost in who's actually doing the voice, and it's a lot of the times it's a lot of like voice actors, but Pixar isn't afraid of putting super famous people in their movies. They kind of went the other route, but Sandra Oh, I thought like gave a really good performance in a voice acting role here.
Yeah,
she's the most famous person in this movie.
No, James Hong.
Oh,
I'm sorry, James Hong, from Big Trouble in Little China. From The Golden Child. He was in. He
Golden Child.
Yeah. He has over 600 acting credits. I mean, James Hong, and I just actually looked it up because I wanted to be sure. He's 93.
Good Lord.
Still working.
Damn.
Right. He has been working for like 60. Like. James, I love him personally. I grew up
Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott will never retire.
James Hong.
Is he the Mr. Pink? He's in Kung Fu Panda as well.
Yeah, I believe so. He was the shaman. He was the one who came to do the ritual at the end of the movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
I knew as soon as I heard his voice, I was like, I know this man. I know this voice.
Well, him going like, you can do anything. I prefer Tony Bennett. You can sing anything. I prefer Tony Bennett, but your grandmother's more traditional.
Can we talk about the music a sec? Because I wouldn't have known who was behind composing this music until Aaron told me, but it made me think about watching the Goofy movie, which is the greatest movie of all time. And they let Tevin Campbell do the music, and the music was
that boy was good. Cooking, bro.
It still slaps. Like having music that's just good on that level, like. You make it a boy band, and then you make the songs like catchy enough to where like people will actually go listen to them. I thought they did that very well. I did not know. I have never heard a Billie Eilish song. I don't really know anything about her.
Yes, you have.
Like I really have not. Like I don't know anything about this. Isn't she like 17 or some shit like that? That's not the kind of music I listen to.
I think she's 19.
She's 19 or 20 now.
I did not listen to young white pop starlets. That's not my typical demo. But I didn't know that about this movie, but I did as I go to the movie. I was like, oh, this music's actually good. Like this sounds like boy band music, and I can understand why little 13-year-old girls would be into this music. Like it's catchy, and they did a good job on that front. It wasn't quite Powerline, but it was fire enough. So it didn't surprise me when Erin said she's been listening to it all day.
I'm not even lying. Well, they wrote it perfectly. It's like I'm not even lying when I tell you like this shit is on my phone. Like I've been listening to it. I'm not lying, but it was perfect. Like NSYNC, Backstreet Boy, like early 2000s, late 90s music. And it's actually kind of odd that so her brother, gosh, I'm going to forget his name. Phineas, thank you. Phineas is the one who actually wrote and produced most of Billie Eilish's music.
No way. His name is Phineas Eilish.
His name is Phineas Eilish?
Their last name
Eilish is not their real name.
Oh, their
last name is not Eilish.
Got it.
But he did most of her but he wrote 3 of the songs on the soundtrack. And he is actually one of the singers in Fort Town as well.
Oh, wow.
Yes, he's one of the singers. And I was telling him earlier, I was like, Jordan Fisher. Okay, so I know Jordan Fisher from To All the Boys, Part 2. He played John Ambrose. Anyway. And also, I'm not going to say too much on him because he adds people on Twitter. He be having time.
Oh.
He was like, yeah, he's the black one. I hate to say that, but he a Fort Town. Yeah.
Was the black one the lead singer? I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
It seemed like he was, which I really fuck with.
He was the Nick Cannon of that group.
And that's Jordan
Justin Timberlake.
Yes. But they did a really good job because by the first time I heard the music in the movie, I was just like, oh, this is cute. But they kept playing it and playing it. By the end of the credits, I knew the words. I was singing the song.
Also we should.
I'm never gonna let you cry. Oh my! Like I was.
Oh my!
I was to be your ride or die. Like I was in that shit by the end of the credits. Like and then the end credits. Did you guys see the end credits? By the way,
I don't think I watched it.
There's a 5-second end credits of the dad in the basement singing the song and dancing.
The dad was hilarious in this movie.
The dad was one of the best parts.
I loved the dad. The dad was like, I'm for my girls. I'm gonna support them. I'm gonna make dumplings.
I do like how they didn't make it like dumb dad thing, but he was just like he's just kind of in the background. He's like, I'm here if you need me. Yeah. But they didn't make him like falling over himself like dumb dad.
I mean, they did a little bit because there was one scene where I think the mom was like trying to like follow her out like to the party or whatever, and she was like, no, you should hang out here with dad. And she like looks over at the dad and he's just like just at the table being a dumbass.
Because he was like, what? Hang out with me?
Yeah.
Also
incredible.
The score of this movie was done by Ludwig Göransson. If you don't know who that is.
Yeah. I can't believe that he is like an Oscar winner and a multi-Grammy winner. Like used to be Childish Gambino's like weird white producer friend, and now he's like fucking everywhere scoring movies and shit.
He did very dope.
He does the score for The Mandalorian. He does
it for Atlanta too, right? Like he scores a lot of shit now. Just because he did.
I think he did Black Panther
too. White friend. Yeah.
Creed.
Creed was there you go.
He might have done Black Panther. Yeah, he did.
I'm pretty sure he did Black Panther. Yeah,
he did Black Panther as well.
He's done a lot of shit. He's
good.
Yeah, he just came out of nowhere. Like he was Childish Gambino's weird white producer friend getting shouted out. We were all like, "Who the fuck is Ludwig?" And now, fucking Oscar winner and shit. Like what?
Yeah. So that's that is a really interesting kind of backing behind this movie as well. Anything else that really stood out to us? I like Toronto as a setting. We don't see that. I mean, a lot of films now like use Toronto as New York or whatever.
Yeah, they always turn it into something different.
Yeah, big city. But I like a movie being just genuinely set in Toronto. Like you don't see that very often. I feel like I don't know. I thought it was. I think because
Domi, I believe she grew up in Toronto or she grew up in Canada.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that was the thing that I thought was interesting about the movie is that she is her parents, at least, I don't know if she was born here or China, but her parents are immigrants. So it was interesting, like how because there's always going to be, especially thing with Asian, or not even Asian, with any immigrant, and your children here, like they're experiencing Western culture for the first time. They're experiencing a different culture, but they want you to, experience it, but also they want you to have their culture from where they grew up too. And that is what like Mei-Ling was trying to try to combat. She's like, I want to be a child. I want to be with my friends, but at the same time, I have to work in this. What was it? A temple?
Like the temple. Yeah.
Yeah. After school, doing tours. And it's like, oh, she had to really like balance so much on her shoulders and that's a lot, I think. And I think that is Domishi's story of being an immigrant child, like having to balance so much of that. And I think she did that really, really good.
That's also one thing I want to talk about. I feel like that metaphor got a little mixed, like by the end of the movie, like the whole like trying to like break away from the past culture thing or whatever. Because by the end of the movie, she's like apparently more in touch with the ancestors than like the people who actually grew up caring about the ancestors. Like that's like one thing I was like, I'm confused. I don't understand like what we're trying to do here. You know what I'm saying? Like
I don't even know where to start and where to get into that. Maybe it just kind of got lost in translation with him. Maybe she accepted the panda and now she is closer to the spirit than people that were trying to separate themselves from. I don't know.
Yeah, but like, that doesn't make sense to me. I was like, whatever.
I will say this movie does, and people being racist will say, well, there's not enough white people in the movie. This movie does a really good job of like representation without hitting you over the face. I don't know. It's about a Chinese American girl or a Chinese Canadian girl, her Indian friend, her Korean friend, and her white friend, and it's just like a really cool thing of representation. You see a Sikh man, I believe, is the security guard.
Security guard.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's a really cool, like, it just how like actual culture looks out in the wild is what they did with this movie. So that's cool. Like,
yeah,
awesome.
I respect it.
Can someone explain to me why, other than like movie magic, why the boy band like goes back on stage and starts singing the song when the pandas are doing their panda thing? Because I didn't understand that at all. Because like if a giant panda attacks my show, like I'm going to the back. Like fans be damned. I'm not coming back out there when the pandas are still out there. I didn't understand that. They just all started singing like they were still doing the show. And I was like, no, this show is over, bro.
That is the power of music.
Yeah, they realize you gotta sing because for some reason that's gonna help the magic and to get her not to be a panda anymore. So we're gonna be singing.
They probably realized that they still had to get paid.
We canceled, bro. The big ass panda coming here grabbing up kids. The show is canceled, bro. That's my last time.
They saw the chalks on the ground starting to light up, and like the giant ass pandas in the middle, and they were like, some magic shit's going on. I'm just this is
gonna get so many views on TikTok.
2002 TikTok.
2002 TikTok. I don't even what would even be. MTV was still around, I guess. Like, what is like?
This is gonna be so popping on MySpace and this new thing called YouTube.
No, what was Black Planet or College Clubs? I don't know.
I did really like how, like, at the end of the movie when they're like raising money to like rebuild the Sky Dome or whatever.
They didn't leave
like,
that
so much fucking money.
They didn't let that go because I leaned over to Caitlin. I said, "Wouldn't they be in jail?" And like right. Their solution is like just we'll raise a fund to go. I don't know how they're eating or anything because all of my money would be going to that. But yeah, they just kind of. I guess the thought is like, hey, if you don't want me to become a panda and like destroy the city, like we'll just pay it off gradually.
Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? I can turn to a giant red panda. Like, are you gonna shoot me? No, you're not.
Yeah.
Like,
The fact that her mom was so big, though, I was like, damn.
Her mom was huge. I was like, God damn, because even the other family members were like normal size, like her size, and then her mom was like as big as the fucking stadium.
Like, low key, I was like, bro, your daddy a freak. Like,
yeah, I thought
daddy wilding, bro.
I thought the same thing because he must have been putting out good because she like fought her mom over that. He's like, what she turned into a panda and have an argument with her mom, and he was like, me, duh.
Doing something right. He was doing something right because she was like, no, my bag, this is the last straw. I'll turn into a big ass panda on your ass.
He was like, your mom was like giant or huge or whatever he said, and then she like actually turned into the panda, and the daughter was like you didn't tell me she was like a fucking Godzilla. Like, what the fuck?
And do y'all know, like, I'm weird. Okay, so I'm weird. I'm a kind of an animal lover, like obsessive. So I actually knew this going in, but do you know, like, pandas actually symbolize patience and
oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They're a symbol for like being calm and being patient. And I know, which is, I mean, it makes sense for the movie when you think about like how she had to be calm in order to not be it makes sense, but it's also funny because it's like, your rage turned you into this monster that's actually really chill. Like red pandas are actually extremely not small, but they're actually pretty small animals, and they're very
they're like the size of a medium-sized dog, right? Like or even a smaller dog. Yeah.
They're like the size, yeah, and they're very solitary animals. Like they're not, it was really weird. It was like, interesting. But I don't know why I know that shit. So
I thought it was
animals, that's why.
Very. I used to want to be a veterinarian when I was a kid.
Oh,
does it make sense?
Something.
It explains so much.
That makes so much sense.
I did think it was funny how instead of like all of the, I think it was a good kind of flip of like instead of all of her school friends or the school people shunning them for her being different or whatever, that they were just like, "This is the coolest shit ever. Can we pay you?"
Yeah, I was like, that would have been me.
That girl was at that birthday party. I was getting mad. I was like, how many more rides? Like, excuse me?
Yeah.
Hey, bro, for $200 in like 2002 money, man, nah, I need all the fucking rides. Nah, you got to be like the whole night. I got to be riding around. It's the fucking Bush era dollars.
Oh
this
my goodness.
This is before the recession. Things were good.
I don't know who was in Canada in 2002. I can't make a joke about that. I'm not that cultured, but still.
I think it was a Trudeau.
Sure.
I did think that I called this movie originally like Book Smart, but for kids, because it had that feeling at the very beginning of it. Now it seems a little reductive because it's like a female-led comedy, but like it had that same feeling of it too, like outsiders are trying to like make their way in whatever world this is, and they're super confident in what they're doing. Like you were saying at the very beginning of the podcast, they're just super confident in their dorkdom or whatever. And I just really I kind of made that comparison, and it feels like the most like accurate if you're going to compare it to another movie, I guess. I don't know. But anything else
when you have friends?
Yeah. Anything else that we think about this movie before we do the best female directors draft?
Give Domi Shi more work.
Yes, absolutely.
She's incredible.
She has won an Academy Award, and she is this. I think this is gonna like do numbers on Disney Plus. I really do.
Same.
I hope so.
She deserves.
Plus, like, you should just have a career for the rest of your life if you make Bow. So,
that was such. What was the movie that I couldn't even remember. Wait,
was it Onward?
Can you remember?
No, I don't think so. It was before that.
Before Onward.
It might have been like Incredibles 2.
That makes more.
Might have been Incredibles 2.
Because I remember like the theater was full and we were all fucking shook.
Silent. We were silent in that theater, like, oh shit. Like it was like an audible gasp of like so many people.
Was like, hey yo, what the fuck?
You were attached. You got so emotionally attached to that fucking dumpling. Like,
I cried, I think, when Caitlin showed me that for the first time. I was like, Jesus Christ.
I was shook.
I can't believe that they ate the dumpling. I couldn't believe it.
It was the way she did it. It was so fast. Like she when I say gobble up, like yo,
yeah, it was Incredibles 2.
Yeah, that makes sense because she was also on the storyboard art for Incredibles 2 as well as Toy Story 4, The Good Dinosaur, and Inside Out. So she's.
Is this her first time directing a film? This is her first time.
Yep.
What was the stat?
Extremely impressive.
First female full-time director and second Asian director.
Female solo director, yeah. Because there have been like
in Pixar history
directors who have in Pixar history, because there have been some female directors who have like worked with a man on
got
some other movies. I think Soul was like that. Like there was a woman involved in directing, but she wasn't the only director. So this is the first time.
I want to say her illustrator or her DP. I want to say there's another Asian woman that she worked with in Bao who was like, doing the illustration for Bao that she brought on for Turning Red as well. And it was like her first feature film as well.
Yeah, she definitely deserves to continue to make movies, especially if she had hands in.
I can't wait to see what she did next. I really enjoyed that.
She had hands in Inside Out and Toy Story 4 and all that stuff, then yeah, absolutely. Like plus this movie is just great too. Like I said, I give it a 95. I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah.
All right.
Domi Shiaisos.
Let her cook. All right, we're gonna do best female directors draft right after this ad break from Apollo Houston. All right, let's do it. Dex, give us a draft order. I've picked last time.
We'll go Tej, Aaron, Royden, Dex.
Tej, Aaron, Royden, Dex. Okay, Tej, first pick.
Okay,
it's gonna be tough.
Oh, this is so much pressure. Wait, are we not taking a break we used to take a break here?
It's fake.
Shit. It's fake.
Movie magic, people.
Fuck, man.
I mean, we can cut all this out. It's fine.
I'm going. Yes, let's cut all this out. I gotta pull up my list. I made a list earlier of the female directors I wanted to potentially draft, but it's not pulling up on time. I remember who was on the list, but I don't remember who I had first.
Sure. Tej says, I know female directors.
For $20, name a woman.
Okay.
Name one woman.
Okay. I'm going to take this is just your favorite. This is not like all-time best women directors, right?
Yeah, well, I'm
going to shout out one of my favorites from 2019. Her name is Lorraine Scafaria. I think that's how you say her last name. She did Hustlers. And when I walked out of Hustlers, I was like, I can't believe this film. I have to look at who directed this. And I saw this woman and I started to go look her up. And I cannot wait to see what she makes next, because I am one of those people that thought Hustlers was just like out of this world phenomenal. And not just because I was corny. The story itself, not just because everybody looked incredible and it had Jennifer Lopez looking great and Cardi B looking great. I thought they did a really good job telling this story.
By the way,
yeah, justice for J-Lo.
Robbed of an Oscar nomination. I can't believe that. I thought she was great. So I want to go back and watch some of her other films. I think that's just her second feature film. I can't remember. I was wrong on that. She's had way more feature films than that. Oh, that's not true. She's had three. The other two I haven't watched yet, and they're not like super famous, but Hustlers was her third.
She did Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. I've seen that.
Yes,
I love that movie.
Underrated.
Yep, but she didn't direct. She didn't direct it, but she wrote it.
She wrote it. Yeah.
Great movie. She didn't direct it.
Great.
But, I want to see what she does next. I thought Hustlers was great. Obviously there were a lot of comparisons to Magic Mike, which is a movie which porn people might like, but also people who like stories might like. I thought Hustlers was the same way. I was obviously very taken with the things going on screen with terms of the stripping, but I really love the story and the way that it was shot and the way that it was told. So I'm going with Lorraine Scafaria as my first pick.
All right, Eric.
Ooh, I have a lot. I'm
Good.
like, I have two bouncing in my head right now, but I'm just gonna go with the one that Lulu Wang.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love her. I love The Farewell. I'm not a fan of Awkwafina, but I think Farewell was perfect. It might have been because of my relationship with my grandmother and that movie that she did a beautiful job. Plus, Lulu Wang and Barry Jenkins are like fucking Hollywood director couple goals. Like they're so fucking cute together. Like I love them and I love her. So I'm gonna have to go Lulu Wang. Plus I'm keeping it Asian. We're gonna keep it on brand tonight.
All right.
I went to a Barry Jenkins screening of he had a show called The Underground, which was very good. They streamed the whole season. He was there. We got to ask him questions. And my first question was like, how much do you love The Farewell? Because The Farewell is literally a perfect movie. It is the greatest movie ever.
Yes.
It is so good. It makes me cry every time.
Bang.
Great choice. That movie fucking bangs.
I got to be in a Zoom call or Zoom room with Lulu Wang like last year during the pandemic. And it was like, well, it was something that she was doing out of a LA theater, but I got to ask her questions too. But it was funny because it was on Zoom and it was probably like me and maybe 40 other women. But
oh my God.
It was incredible. She's so sweet and so kind. Also, I was the only Black woman, but because of how I look, you could pick me out of the Asian women. I have a screenshot and it's so sad. I was like, yo, none of my friends will even be able to tell me which one is me. They'd have to be careful. But it was like one of the best. Like she's like down to earth and funny, and she talked about like her experience with directing The Farewell, and she's so sweet, like obsessed.
Oh, I love The Farewell.
Me too. Yeah, going with Blue.
My first pick is Catherine Bigelow. First woman.
She made it this far.
Yeah, I think she's the first woman to ever win an Academy Award for Best Director.
She is.
The most dope thing of all time because she beat out her ex-husband James Cameron for that ass Avatar movie that everybody was like, he has to win Best Director, and she's like, no. I love that. That's incredible.
So glad he didn't win Best Director.
Like I'm gonna tell you right now, like secret, like women, y'all might not. Women celebrated.
Oh,
we
good.
celabrated that night. Like, year round, all of our uteruses lined up together, and we cheered. We fucking cheered.
The Hurt Locker, I feel like, is like a perfect movie. It's a perfect war film. It is the most tense movie I think you'll ever watch in your entire life, and it is not fun, but it is incredible.
Even made Anthony Mackie look like he could act for a couple minutes, which is impressive as hell. Very impressive that she did that.
Dex, have you seen The Hurt Locker?
No.
I think you would really enjoy it, but
it's really good.
Oh,
it's intense.
It is.
Zero Dark 30 was her follow-up to that, which also she was nominated for, and I think it's also a really brilliant film. There's some problems with that movie, but it's also incredible. She did stuff like Near Dark as well too. So, but yeah, first woman to ever win an Academy Award for Best Director. Like, it has to go off the board. Only woman, yeah. Is she only? No, she's not.
No, she's not. She's the first, not only.
Yeah, because Chloe Zhao just won it, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm gonna go with another one that I feel like is very obvious not to come off the board. Greta Gerwig. She's only done 3 movies so far. Lady Bird, Little Women, and I don't remember what her first film is called. I don't think I've seen it, but
Lady Bird. Maggie's Plan.
Sure. Little Women go so crazy to me. Obviously, like I'm a big Florence Pugh guy. Everyone knows this about me if you listen to this podcast, but like the rest of that film is incredible too. Nights and Weekends is our first movie. Nights and Weekends back in 2008, Lady Bird in 2017, Little Women in 2019. But yeah, I fucking love Little Women. I went back and watched Lady Bird just because I was like, I guess I have to. Everyone's talking about it. All the high top Converse chicks are like really into it. So I have to have this like cultural touch point.
I gotta do it. I gotta stay in the game.
Yeah, and I honestly ended up really liking it. Like it's not like a great movie or anything. It's not classic cinema to me, but like I appreciated it for what it was. So yeah, I think Greta Gerwig's gonna do really, really big things in the future. She's already got a couple Oscar nominations, or apparently she has 3 of them. So
great writer.
She does next
She's an incredible writer.
Whatever she does next is going to be super dope, obviously. So I'm excited for her. And then my next pick, they've had some big hits and some big misses, but I'm gonna go with the Wachowskis. Obviously, like they directed The Matrix, which is incredible. They also directed
What
the
a
Matrix
pick.
sequels, which are
They
not
also directed
incredible.
Cloud Atlas.
They directed Cloud Atlas, incredible. I will not hear otherwise.
A movie that Tej couldn't even watch in one sitting.
It's 9 hours long and it was late at night. But
there's a lot of movies Tej can't watch in one sitting.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Wachowskis. Like you gave us the original Matrix movies. Whatever you do after that, I mean, who really cares? You gave us the Matrix, but they also gave us Cloud Atlas, and they wrote V for Vendetta. So like, I'll allow it. It's fine.
My next pick is one. Rest in peace, Penny Marshall. She did one of my favorite movies of all time, which is actually kind of problematic, but Big. She did that, and she also did another great Tom Hanks movie, A League of Their Own, which is, just it holds up so supremely well. And she did Awakenings, which was nominated for several Academy Awards with Robert De Niro and why am I forgetting? Robin Williams, sorry. And so she made 3 really brilliant movies. I'm sure she made a lot more, but the two that I know,
Flash.
Yeah, the two that I know off the top of my head There's No Crying in Baseball scene is in
amazing
cinema history. It's like in cinema lore now. So yeah, I really enjoyed the movies that I've seen of her. I need to see more, but rest in peace. That's my pick.
He also made a cameo in the Hocus Pocus for whatever that's worth.
It is Aaron.
I was going to pick Penny Marshall, but okay, that's all right because I have a lot. I'm going Regina King.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
And I'm going to say Regina, she only had one feature film, One Night in Miami, but I'm going to pick Regina King for anything. I don't care what you have, actress, producer, writer, whatever it's going to be. Baby mama, Regina King.
Baby mama.
She can do anything. She's going to do anything and everything. Like if you know me long enough, you know that I love that woman in anything that she's ever done since Brenda from 227.
Yeah, she's incredible. You can't go wrong with Regina King in anything.
Ever. Any category, what category can you pick that you could not pick her and be wrong?
She should be the host of the Oscars.
She should. And I mean, I know she's going through so much with the recent passing of her son. So I wouldn't expect anything from her. But at the same time, I absolutely love her. I worship the ground that woman walks on.
The next movie I'm going to pick, or the next director I'm going to pick, is going to be controversial because she maybe only has one good movie, but that one good movie is very high up there in terms of my list of movies that have shaped my taste. And it is Sofia Coppola with Lost in Translation. I love Lost in Translation. I love Bill Murray.
And people hate that movie.
It is a peak ScarJo movie. I know people don't like it. I really, really like the movie. There's something about it that makes me come back to it. I've probably seen it like 5 times. I really like Sofia Coppola, but her other movies are not good. And a lot of people think all her movies are not good. But I did not hate the Marie Antoinette movie that she made either. That's probably the only other movie of hers that I would ever go back to. But people do not like her movies. But there's something about her style that really works for me. I really love the choices she made in Lost in Translation. I'm going to go with Sofia Coppola.
It's not fair, man. You can't I don't know. It's like Barry Bonds' kid trying to live up to his legacy.
Yeah, it's like you can never be like your father made maybe the greatest movie of all time. Like, how do you live up to that? But I mean, I would like to try. If my dad made The Godfather, I'd be like, sure, I want to make movies. Like, that's exactly what I want to do. And if I fail, who cares? I made movies. I had a great time. So I understand that part of it.
She was on every Got Next list for years too.
It never worked out. She was.
You kind of have to be when your last name is Coppola.
Was it Virgin Suicides?
Virgin Suicides. People did not like that. It's not good.
The Bling Ring. A24's. A24's first film, The Bling Ring.
Yep. I love A24.
Really
The Bling Ring is not good.
Their first film. Yeah.
They survived.
They survived.
It's funny because you would think that you always before movie studios become super popular or that you know off the top of your head, like you would think that, oh, they've been around for years, kind of grinding. No, A24 just kind of showed up in 2012, and we were like, all right,
legends.
All right, TG got another pick.
Oh shit! For my next pick, I'm gonna pick Jenny Livingston, who made Paris is Burning, which is maybe the wildest, coolest documentary that I've ever seen. Very well known. She also made that show Pose that I think is still on FX or was on FX. And that's why she got that job, because she made Paris is Burning, which is a massive documentary in that community among those people. Paris is Burning is phenomenal. I would recommend anybody watching it. It is some of the choices that she made and the way that film is presented are just mind blowing. And it's also, I think, the only film that she's ever made. I think, I don't remember. I have to go look. But she's been working on Pose. Isn't Pose like almost done? Isn't it like
it's
about
done.
to be?
They wrapped.
Yeah, it's done. But yeah, Jenny Livingston, love Paris is Burning.
Oh,
Aaron?
Oh, me. Okay, I'm gonna let y'all know. I don't know how drafts work at all. I don't even know the rules.
We're going basically in a circle. We're going in a state.
Like, just somebody say my name and I'm gonna like listen. Like, I know a lot of female directors, so I can do this all night. So I mean, but for me,
yes.
Nora Ephron.
Oh,
love her. I absolutely love her. She's like rom-com queen as far as directing and writing is concerned. She did one of my faves with Tom Hanks and Meg. You've Got Mail. So obsessed. Yeah, love her. If you don't know her, you suck.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the person that I always get confused with Nora Ephron, Nancy Myers.
Ooh, yeah.
Who does the old people are in love rom-coms?
Yes.
I love those movies.
Old people are in love.
Every single, it's complicated. Something's got to give. She also did The Holiday, but yeah, those movies. Private Benjamin, I think she was nominated for, and no, she was nominated for best screenplay. But yeah, her later work with some of those adult rom-coms are really funny.
Some is old white people.
Yeah.
Did y'all? I just realized. Maybe I knew this at one point in my life, but
also she did Father of the Bride, which is the big one too.
I think so.
I love Father of the Bride. I love Father of the Bride.
Steve Martin.
Did y'all realize that Catherine Bigelow also directed Point Break?
Yes.
I did not know that. I knew she did Hurt Locker. I knew that she did Zero Dark 30. I had no idea that she directed Point Break. I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
That is a fascinating career. What a fascinating career.
And the fact that she turned into the CIA war movie person is really crazy.
It's definitely crazy.
All right. Dex, 2 picks.
All right. So I'm going to pick someone that I used to have beef with when I had a different Twitter account.
I was wondering when it was going to come.
But, now that I have a new Twitter account, I'm no longer blocked. So we can be friends. I'm going to take Ava DuVernay.
Explain the beef.
So, first of all, Wrinkle in Time is bad, so I was correct. But so before Wrinkle in Time came out, I was like, the way that y'all are hyping up Ava DuVernay, Wrinkle in Time better be the best movie I've ever seen, or I'm gonna be upset. And apparently, her or someone on her team with access to her Twitter account searches for her name, and they found that tweet and they did not like it, and so I was blocked. But that's an old account, so now I'm free and unblocked by Ava DuVernay. Shout out. And even though Wrinkle in Time is bad, she's done a lot of really good things. 13th is really good. I like Selma a lot.
Selma's good.
Yeah, When They See Us is really good. Yeah. So Ava DuVernay, like, she can. We no longer have beef, but I was right about Wrinkle in Time, and I am owed an apology.
I don't think she'll ever apologize to you.
I am owed an apology.
That's fair. But so that's my pick. I'm surprised she lasted this long, to be honest with you. But Ava DuVernay, and then my second pick, I'm gonna go with kind of an under the radar one. Might not even technically count, but I'm just doing it anyway. Her name is Jennifer Lee. She co-directed both of the Frozen movies, which both slap. Her and Chris Buck co-directed both of those movies, and I fucking love Frozen and Frozen 2. I'm one of the people who is like responsible for Let It Go being everywhere and inescapable, and the soundtrack dominating the pop charts for as long as it did. It's all on me. And shout out to Jennifer Lee for giving me that. That was a big part of my life and very important to me. And it's better than Moana and Tangled and all the other Disney princess movies that y'all love.
Into the Unknown is a better song.
That's fine. That's fair. Because Frozen 2 also slaps. I just want justice for Elsa and Anna, the best Disney princesses. That's all.
My next pick and final pick, and people can argue with me, argue with somebody else. I gotta go with Chloe Zhao. Yeah, argue with somebody else. Argue with someone else.
Nomadland bangs, and Eternals is actually decent. Y'all are just haters and mad.
Okay, argue with somebody else over that Eternals film, whatever. But like, she won an Academy Award, and she made a really, really good movie for like $2,000. So like, I really appreciate her work. So yeah, Chloe Zhao. I'm gonna go with her, and I think if she would have had better, I'm gonna put the Eternals movie on Kevin Feige and not her. If Kevin Feige would have given her a better direction on whether they needed to take that movie, then it would have been better. Otherwise, it was studio interruption, and that's the first time I'm gonna call that Marvel has tried to sabotage their director.
You're questioning the mouse, bro. I don't know how that's gonna go for you, but
I was gonna blame the editors.
Yeah, that wasn't great either.
There's no one to be blamed. The movie is good.
I'm blaming Chloe. That shit stinks.
Long. It was way too long. I was like, y'all could have edited out at least an hour of this shit, and it would have been bearable.
That shit stinks. That's superhero doom. That shit is the worst.
Wow. Y'all talking about Chloe Zhao like she's Zack Snyder or something, bro. Like,
yeah,
y'all gotta relax. All right.
Okay. I would much rather watch Nomadland than watch the Snyder Cut, so I will give you.
You don't like Nomadland?
It's basically the same movie.
It's got the same filters on it. It's bad.
I like Nomadland too. Tej is the only one that's wrong and bad about that movie.
Boring.
It's so boring.
It's feel the vibe, the movie, but like
I would much rather y'all have done this than jump on the Jane Campion train, which hot take, all her movies are bad. And Power of the Dog is really bad.
Power of the Dog is so awful.
Although she ethered Sam Elliott.
She did.
She did.
Like, it's very funny. But also Sam Elliott was like kind of right. Like he
was kind of right, but then he started
he veered off a little bit. Yes. But he got back on track there before it got too crazy. All right. I thought he was gonna drop the F word on him a little bit there for a second, but he reeled it back in, at least in the podcast part that I heard.
But the line of he's not a cowboy, he's an actor is incredible.
Yeah,
well done.
I know that had to cut him deep. I know it did. But still, Power of the Dog sucks. I'm sorry. I hope it doesn't win any fucking thing. I hope they all go to the Oscars.
Yeah, let's not get that. Let's not get lost. Let's not get lost in the sauce. That movie's not good.
I hope they sit there all night and win nothing. They hear their name announced for every single nomination, and then they're just like, somebody else won, not y'all. It sucks. That's what I want.
Aaron, if you steal my pick, I'm going to be so mad.
What? Am I still picking something?
Mad. You are.
Yeah.
This is your final pick.
Okay, Claire Denis. She is a French director. I have seen several of her films in deep love with her. I think she does phenomenal work.
What are some of her films? I've never heard this name before. What are some of her works? I've never heard this name before.
See? Well, let me see. I Can't Sleep. I'm trying to think of what it is, how you pronounce it in French. It's Je pas sommeil, I think. But she's done a couple movies that I think she did. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up.
Didn't she do one that she got either? I thought she got nominated for an Oscar, or at least there was talk of one.
I believe she did. Yeah, she's done a lot of good films. She did Chocolat.
That's what it was. It's Chocolat. Chocolat's nominated. Yes, that's what it is.
But she's done a lot of films since then too that have been really, really good. She's again French director Claire Denis. I'm obsessed with her. I love her eye. I love like her vision. She's very intricate and she's very, you could tell that she's very detail oriented, and she's probably somebody I would hate to work with because I feel like she would just like nitpick things, but it comes across in her movies so beautifully. Like it's done
Woman David
so
Fincher.
Well. Yes, but I mean, but she's gentle. You can tell it's a gentle touch to it. Like everything, the way I can describe her directing style is intimate. Like it's so fucking intimate. Like I love her. I love her. There's some white woman on this planet that I love.
I love that disclaimer.
There are a
few. There are a few. Jessica Lansbury's in there.
Final take,
draft, I'm gonna take Gina Prince Blythewood. Gina Prince Blythewood, her first movie, Love and Basketball. Out of the gate, she made Love and Basketball, which is insane. She also made The Old Guard, which dropped in 2020, which is phenomenal.
A good movie.
A sequel. Yeah,
I really enjoyed that
on
movie.
Netflix. It's good. It's really good.
You wouldn't think that the director who did those two
at all. Love and Basketball is actually her only rom-com movie, and Love and Basketball is kind of a rom-com, I guess. I guess it's technically a rom-com, but like her movies, she's made a little bit of everything. But in TV, she's done a lot of black comedy. She's done where to go? She's done the Bernie Mac Show, Girlfriends, Everybody Hates Chris. So you can see kind of that lane of like, that makes much more sense of somebody who did Love and Basketball could do Everybody Hates Chris and the Bernie Mac Show. But like, she's done some cool shit. The Old Guard has like very little jokes in it. It's just like a very serious movie, but it's fucking phenomenal. It's got action. Like the fact that she can do Love and Basketball and make a legitimate action blockbuster movie, it was a huge deal for Netflix. They made a lot of money off of it. They're going to now they're making it IP. They're making a whole universe of The Old Guard.
I don't need all that.
I'm in. I'm fucking in. And she's dropping a movie this year called The Woman King, which is a historical drama. It stars Viola Davis. That's all I need to know. I'm in.
John Boyega too.
And John, I'm in. Like I'm already in. So like, she's a great. Anybody who can give you Love and Basketball first time out. Love and Basketball, not a perfect movie. It persists. It'll never go away. It is that good that Black people will be watching this movie for the rest of their life. So
true.
I'm gonna end the draft with her. Shouts to Gina.
I got a honorable mention. Deborah Granick made Leave No Trace and Winter's Bone.
Yes.
Leave No Trace is like one of the most underrated films of the past decade. Nobody saw it, but it's on Amazon. I think it's on Amazon. It just like didn't get a release, I don't think, but it has Ben Foster, who is simultaneously one of the most underrated actors that is working currently. But it's Dex, who's next got next. What's her name? Oh, Thomasin McKenzie her first role. And it was Jennifer. She directed Jennifer Lawrence.
Lawrence in Winter's Bone. I was about to say that was her first. And she got an Oscar nomination for that. That movie was so good. Like I was impressed with. I've been a fan of Jennifer Lawrence since then, and not her every role that she's done, but because of Winter's Bone, I believe in Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah,
I too believe in Jennifer Lawrence now. One person that we kind of have to mention, even though I think most of her films stink, she did give us one banger that we'd reviewed on the show before. Patty Jenkins, she gave us Monster, which actually slaps. Wonder Woman does not slap, and neither does Wonder Woman 1984. Wonder Woman 1984 is extremely bad.
Have you listened to that episode, Aaron? Because I think we really...
There's a weird... Okay, so Wonder Woman 1984 like irritates the fuck out of me because it's supposed to be set in DC. Bad. It's supposed to be... I'm from DC. I'm born and raised in DC in the 80s. It's supposed to be set in DC in the 80s. That is the cleanest DC in the 80s I've ever seen. It's a fucking crack epidemic 80s. And they're in day glow windbreakers doing break dancing on a corner. White people win. I was like, where? I was like, this is not. I was so mad. They're in like the mall, and like I was like, yo, this is not. I was like, no. First of all, you're in the fucking Maryland suburbs. There's no like it. Oh my gosh, it drove me insane. It drove me insane. As like a native Washingtonian, I was like, get the fuck out of here. This was nowhere near. I was like, who researched this shit?
I said they wanted to make Thor Ragnarok, but it was like off-brand Thor Ragnarok.
That was my biggest, and there are bigger issues with that movie, but that was my biggest issue. Because I'm like, not one crackhead, not one.
They don't really put crackheads in DC movies. Even in Gotham, it wasn't no crackheads. I guess they were called dropheads.
Washington, D.C. in 1984, there were crackheads outside the White House. You are going like, I'm not, that's not even a joke. I'm being very serious. Like, actually, there was a documentary on Netflix about the crack epidemic, and there was actually a part where they interviewed a guy who had gone to jail that they said they did a setup of him where they arrested him outside the White House, where an undercover FBI agent sold him crack, and then they arrested him for possession of crack so that they can like do an arrest and be like, this is what we're talking about, the war on drugs. But they found him sitting outside the White House.
Damn.
That is insane.
I'm dead ass.
My problem with Wonder Woman 1984 is just that this woman just randomly turns into a cheetah at some point off screen. No rhyme or reason. She turns into a cheetah at some point, and we're all supposed to be okay with it.
It was the crack.
Yeah. It was the crack. Now we understand. Now we know.
That makes so much more sense now.
That's the crack I was missing. There it is.
Oh man. All right. That has been any other honorable mentions that we want to mention?
Gina Prince by the Wood. She's another good director. Well, she's part of the By the Wood clan crew. If you ever look them up, if you know them, like Black people, they're like a strong legacy in the Black culture. But she's one of my faves. Debbie Allen, of course.
Right, that has been a one take pod. Aaron, thank you so much for coming on. Tell them where they can find what you're doing. It was great. It's great. Yeah. Tell them where they can find your socials and what you're doing or working on or anything you want to plug.
Please don't find me.
Oh.
Fair enough.
That's okay. Never had that happen.
That is incredible.
Yeah, fuck you guys. No,
I mean, like,
fuck you guys.
I'm not working on anything. I'm just a woman who tweets about food, my animals, and movies. And because I'm not working on anything, I do get creeps. So just don't find.
Don't find Aaron.
Never look her up.
Not safe for work. MILF Reddit thread that one of my friends sent me. First of all,
did you say MILF Reddit?
I don't have no kids, right? How am I a MILF? One. Rude.
Oh my God.
But yes, I was in a MILF not safe for work Reddit thread. This was like 2 months ago. One of my friends showed it to me. They were like, do you know one of your pictures? Mind you, it's not even risky. But I was like, yeah, don't find me. Don't.
This is insane.
That's why I changed my name on Twitter, by the way. Like,
okay, well then we will not.
But no, like my name on Twitter, Aaron M. Payton. That's ERIN MPEYTON. I do talk a lot about movies and random shit. So if you wanted to, yeah, go for that. But please don't be creepy.
Don't put her in a Reddit thread. That we've had enough of that.
And don't MILF.
That's the part that really fucked you. That's the part that really fucked you up.
Not even
I don't have any fucking kids.
Oh shit!
It's so disrespectful.
That's insane.
Well, this Women's History Month, folks, remember not to be creeps to women at any point in the year, and don't find Aaron on Twitter.
Well, you won't.
I'm friendly. I promise. I'm not.
I'm friendly. I promise.
No, I wouldn't be friendly either if I showed up in a Reddit thread. Like, nah, fam. I'm good.
I'm not being friendly now.
Been too friendly for too long.
No offense, guys, but they aren't putting us in any DILF Reddit threads. None of us are any. They're like, look at these.
Only because I don't have any kids, but I'm ready. I'm ready for my time. You're gonna put me in the DILF threads when it's time.
Find my child and tell me how I ended up in the thread. Like,
I don't have any kids. Like, how do I end up in this?
It's dog moms. Yeah, let's go with that.
I have a cat mom. I have a cat.
Cat moms.
There you go. Cat mom MILF.
Jesus Christ. All right, moving on. You can find us not on Reddit,
Not on Reddit. No,
not on Reddit.
At One Take Pod, at One Take Pod on Instagram, at One Take Pod on Twitter, One Take Pod on TikTok. You go follow us on YouTube, please. You can see these episodes as they air. Get them a few days early, live and uncut. Before we cut out Aaron's Twitter handle and everything else. But yeah, you can find us at One Take Podcast on YouTube as well. Go follow us at Apollo HOU. A lot of baseball content coming down because we actually are going to have a season, which is cool.
Yeah.
Thank God. Yay, baseball. But yeah,
actually it's Formula One season now. So follow us for that, because that's a real man sport, a gentleman's game. We don't support baseball on this podcast. Unless Carlos Correa comes back to the Astros, then we are big baseball fans. Otherwise, maybe not.
You can find us at all of those socials, as well as anywhere that you get your podcasting or podcast. I was going to say podcasting platforms, anywhere that you get your podcast on any platforms. Please go leave us a review, a 5-star review on Spotify as well. You can do that now. That'd be really great if you did that. Leave us a written review on Apple so we can bury any allegations.
Yeah, help us beat the allegations, please. We had another woman guest on. That's the best part of our podcast, apparently. Help us beat the allegation.
Called us all idiots. Thank you so much for listening, downloading, subscribing. Dex, what are we doing?
Hashtag SportForumQ, baby. Check us out. ApolloHAU.com. Use promo code OneTakePodcast, ONETAKEPOD at checkout for 10% off. All the dopest Houston merch you can find.
All right. Thank you so much. And we're out.
We're out of here.
Peace. Everybody.
Yeah.
Rock your body.